Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha shirt psychic. I found a long sleeve Aloha shirt because it's cold in Chicago. It was down to 17 last night, but we're not here to do the weather. I've got the one, the only Linda G in the house.
Who? What's her name? She sounds
Who,
familiar.
who is she? Do I know her? Uh, Linda's almost up to 100,000 subscribers. So, um,
But we're not bragging or anything.
we're not bragging. I told Linda, we were talking about this before we went on. I remember about 6 months ago, I said, Linda, before the end of 2024, you're going to be up to 100,000. She didn't believe me, but here we are. So,
Yeah, but I'm just forever overwhelmed with the generosity and kindness of all the people who, because when the Biden thing or the Kamala thing didn't happen, and we were all so shocked. And I'm telling you, she won, but that's between us. Um, And we got the other one right. We knew he was going to win, that Biden was going to win. But anyway, I lost, like I was down to 82,000.
I lost like 3,000 subscribers. I got it.
And I then all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom.
I think we get through periods of lull and then it picks back up. But, you
Yeah.
um, the one thing I did say though, when Biden stepped down, I said, I fear if we're not careful, the Democrats could have handed the election over to Trump. But once I started watching Kamala, I really felt like she was going to win. In my opinion, she did win. I think that, there was too much interference um, in that election. So,
Oh, Putin was right in the middle of it.
oh,
Oh, Putin made a statement about, oh, poor President Trump. He went through all kinds of uh, assassination attempts.
oh, please. He didn't even hit this piece of it wasn't even a bullet that hit his ear.
America is known for this. No, it's not.
No.
And even our gangsters don't hurt children. They were after his children. You killed children, sir.
Excuse me, how many people has he killed? And how
He's
many people?
killed. There was a young girl who was a reporter who he invited to on his birthday, invited her to his office, and he shot her dead right there because he didn't like something she wrote.
Right, exactly my point. So anyway, um, yeah, but I gained some subscribers back, so
Yeah.
I've just got to be more
Well,
diligent.
people need hope. They need to know everything's going to be okay. And let me tell you something, you guys, no matter what's coming up, and we'll keep doing our shows so you can hang on. This will not last. This is going to turn on a dime. So just know
And I
that.
think it's going to turn a lot quicker than when people are thinking, because Trump's not going to be able to get by with what he wants to get by with. And I default back to what I was told at Lincoln's tomb by Lincoln's spirit.
I
And I
love that.
saying this, you know, uh, um, justice shall be done, democracy shall prevail, and our union will stand. And
Thank
that's,
you.
that's me
We
through.
have we have another chance.
Absolutely. Everybody, please, real quick. We just found out that, our algorithms are affected by your comments below. So please put comments below my channel, Linda's channel. Please keep them positive and nice.
Unfortunately, on my channel, not so much. But that's okay. I pay people to go through. So
um, Thumbs up, like, subscribe, bell, whatever you do. But thank you all for your wonderful, loving support. It means a lot to,
oh,
to
that vibrational energy from the love.
absolutely.
It's just the work. It's the wanting this to be a better place.
And
People really want everybody to be okay. So it's a beautiful thing.
the solidarity with the community, like when I had cancer and how you arranged that, and everybody was wonderful. And the good thing is that Linda and I have become really good friends. I actually
Yeah,
family. She's like a sister. So
right, right. He's my brother from another mother.
besides that, she sends good Thanksgiving cake.
Oh, I know. He got the what was it called? It's a
Crumb cake.
delicious cake.
It was really good.
My girlfriend sends them to me every birthday and holiday. But it's from Switzerland, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
They make excellent, let me tell you.
my God, it was so good. It was addictive. But anyway,
Tell
okay.
the story real quick about your husband.
Yeah, Gary ate half of it. He said he was on a diet. At
You
least
told
I
him he
ate
didn't
half
want
of it.
any.
Yeah, he always gets the goodies before I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could lose a few pounds myself. Okay, are we
I
ready?
probably gained 15 pounds. I ate so much.
Yeah, me too. Are we ready?
Oh,
Are we ready to get started?
yeah. I just want to throw something out there real quick, and you should probably do how you're doing with your events. But I just want to tell everybody, if you recall, I said to everyone that Trump would pardon his son. And that's exactly what happened. And the reason I saw it was something to do with the meeting he had with Trump. And I don't know if he said to him, "Are you guys still going to be on my son's ASS, or what are you doing here?" And I don't know the nonchalant attitude of Trump or it's out of my hands attitude, but he knew in that moment because his son is supposed to be getting hit the end of this month with his punishment. And he knew this, it was all political, had not, other people with the same charges don't go through nearly what Biden's son did. And he gave him a total pardon. And he would have had Kamala do it, but he had to do it quicker because it was once he got hit with jail time, he wouldn't have been able to touch him.
Wait, you said Trump pardoned his son. You mean Biden pardoned his son?
Biden pardoned his son.
Yes.
Sorry, I said that. Yeah.
You had predicted that, so had I, that he did pardon his son, and I'm glad. And you know what? Trump can't say a friggin' word. I said friggin'. Because how many thugs did he pardon? How
Oh,
many, so
but his MAGA is going crazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going, "Oh, well, that's good to know that you can cheat on your taxes and you can lie on your gun paperwork." And it's like he pardoned his son-in-law's father.
And you know what somebody else is going to say to Marjorie Taylor Greene? How about your president who didn't really win, who had 36 criminal felony counts against him, and those charges have not been dropped, nor will they be dropped. They're just stayed. That means they're going to come back at some point.
Yeah.
So I knew that there would be a MAGA that would open their mouth about it, but there's going to be a lot of Dems that are going to say, okay, so he pardoned his son. But what did Trump do? Look at all the thugs he pardoned
Yeah.
for money.
I think President Biden may do a blanket for Mueller, for everybody at the DOJ, and Jack and everybody. I see a blanket pardon.
You're absolutely right, because I was talking to Gary about this, and I said, I'll bet he's going to pardon those people that were investigating Trump. And Gary said, from what? They haven't done anything wrong. I said, just in the event Trump gets some ideas.
He's already announced he's going to take them down.
Well, he can try, but it's not going to work.
I don't see that cockeyed guy getting in either, the one that wants to be the director of FBI.
Mm-mm.
If he did get in, I see many FBI agents quitting, but even Senator Grassley, of all people, said, "Hey, listen, if this guy has something he can do to improve the FBI, I'm willing to listen, but he needs to pass a background check. He needs to have a security clearance." And Elon Musk went crazy.
Which is exactly.
Oh, if they want to start playing that, then we're going to make sure they have no more career. Well, Grassley's what, 110?
Which
He
is
thinks that
exactly.
less.
Which is exactly what I said, that there's going to be a lot of Republicans who are not going to let Trump get by with what Trump wants to get by with. And Elon Musk is not running this country. He thinks he is, but I want to tell you something. I see a huge falling out between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What is your hit of what? Because I see Elon Musk going down in flames.
So do I.
And I feel he'll go back to South Africa because they don't have an extraction agreement with the United States. He'll go there to protect himself. But can you give us any kind of hit you got on that?
I kept saying that, when you see, Elon Musk sit at the right hand of Trump,
He bought that seat.
I kept thinking to myself, even more than the vice president, I kept thinking to myself, I saw thunder and lightning. And whenever I see that, it means disharmony. I saw a big blow up coming between Trump and Musk. And just like right now, Trump is, oh, I can't go anywhere without the guy. At some point, just like Trump has done with everybody, he is going to vilify Elon Musk, and it's going to be a huge, huge uh, uh, disagreement. And Trump is going to totally go against Elon Musk.
Whoa.
Um, at some point, I see Elon Musk under investigation. It's going to take about 3 or 4 years for that whole thing with Starlink.
Yes.
I see him. I don't know if he's a citizen here, if he's just got like a green card, but at some point, I see him back in South Africa. You're right. And I see Elon Musk indicted and found guilty. So it's gonna, there's gonna be a lot that comes out from whistleblowers. Wait and see.
Yeah, and that he helped with the help of Russia. He was an inside Putin person. He worked with, he's a treasonist.
Right.
And they will find him, they'll be on him, they'll follow him, and then he takes off.
That's right.
But I see something happening, just food for thought, and just listen to this. Something's going to happen that Trump takes Elon's advice and then Trump plummets.
Uh,
And he turns around and blames Elon.
there you go.
That SOB, I should have never listened to him. What the hell? You know how he blames everybody. Why did so-and-so talk me into getting pants and all that? So I feel like something happened, but Elon won't shut up either.
Oh,
Elon's
Elon's
going
going
to
to
say a
keep
lot of
going.
stuff.
Elon's going to be just as anti-Trump at some point as Trump is anti-Musk. But you know what? When you just said what you said about, you know, uh, Elon Musk advising Trump to do something, Trump does it and it blows up. I got cold chills with that. So that means a yes.
Okay, cool.
Yay. Yeah, I see a huge blow up coming between those two.
When I know something's right, I get a real desire for chocolate.
You get a desire for Gibson's beef,
Oh, yes, Gibson. Oh my God, that food is so good.
isn't
So
it?
go ahead.
All right. So Sukilal says, hi, Mel and Linda. Any way you can let us know more about the NATO and Article 5 and how does it affect all of the NATO? I don't know what Article 5 is. What is it exactly?
It's if you found a country to be traitors, I think. Article 5 is something they can pull up if they found that Putin did in fact help work again. I guess they can prove that he got interfered with not only the US voting, but he interfered with who's that other country? Georgia. He interfered with them. And they're going to, if they Article 5 Putin, Trump isn't far behind, but there will be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump did not work on behalf of the United States of America, that he is a traitor.
Well, Putin will be Article 5, but so will Trump be. You're right. And, Trump is going to march along with Putin and trying to weaken NATO just like he did before. But
Uh,
guess what? That is going to blow up in Trump's face because there's a lot of countries now that will be joining NATO. And I see them all becoming united and standing strong. In addition, a lot of countries in the European Union. So Trump will try to weaken NATO. It'll look like he'll succeed briefly, but he won't. I see NATO becoming much stronger. And at some point, Linda, you're right. I think that Trump will be Article 5. I just didn't know what it meant until you explained it.
Now, I thought this was related. Maybe okay. NATO can evoke Article 5. They did it in shortly after September 11th, 2001. Okay. So Article 5 of the Constitution says that is how provisions can be added to the text of the Constitution. The Constitution is not easy to amend. Only 27 amendments have been added. But what does it have to do? It's something with a treaty amongst all of us. Russian acts of sabotage may lead to NATO invoking Article 5. Under Article 5, if a NATO member comes under attack, the other members of the alliance are obliged to help respond.
Okay,
Okay,
no, here it is. I know what it is.
what
Yeah,
is it?
it's that to test NATO's resolve to invoke Article 5 of the treaty, which obliges NATO alliance members to provide assistance in case of an attack on another NATO country.
That's
That's
it.
why
That's what they did with September 11th. Exactly.
that's why Putin didn't want those countries like Ukraine or Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, or Finland, or Sweden to join NATO, which Sweden and Finland have.
Yes.
Because he didn't, and the reason that, that Putin came up with, well, I'll end this war in Ukraine if they agree not to join NATO for 20 years. Yeah, because then what he could do is when Ukraine originally agreed to that, Putin still invaded. So there was nothing to stop him. I see Ukraine in NATO, and I see a lot more countries joining NATO.
Yeah.
For that same reason I'm talking about, NATO's going to become much stronger. So at some point, if Putin tries anything, they will Article 5 them.
Wow. Is Poland part of NATO too?
Yes, I think they are. They're
Because
part
he's
of,
talking about taking over Poland.
well, the Polish aren't going to fall for that. A lot of Polish people like Putin, but many of them don't. So he can try, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
I think they're part of the European Union, so the EU is going to stand up, even though Putin wants to weaken NATO, and that's why that whole Article 5 thing. That was a really good question. Let me get back to my questions. Okay. Mark LaRoche asks, is it possible that key Senate races will be overturned in a recount? Rick Scott in Florida and Ted Cruz in Texas.
Are they doing a recount with them?
I don't know.
I feel they won't do a recount with them because they know what the answer is.
Right. Well, I got a funny feeling that Paxton cheated again in Texas.
Oh, he always does.
Taking names off the rolls, and more of that's going to come out too. So.
That's how he rolls.
Right. Okay. Auditore says, Hola, Mel and Linda. How do you know when you are talking to one spirit guide or simply talking to self?
That's very interesting.
It is a good
because it's very hard to decipher. But our spirit is our connection to God. We all have a piece of that omnipresent energy within us.
And spirit isn't just out there, it's inside of us too.
It's inside of us, yeah. So ye are gods, basically. So the information you get is still coming from you. But sometimes how you decipher it from the master computer into your realm is you'll learn to get that feeling of knowing what's right and what's wrong.
Well, I can give it, for example, like with this election, I had a foreboding about, Trump. I
never had that.
I had a foreboding about it, but I also, my guide showed me Kamala winning, and I'm convinced that she did win. I think the foreboding was about exactly what happened. And I'm telling you all, Trump did not win that election. He did not win that election.
Can I tell you what my guide said to me?
Go ahead.
He will blow it up so badly, even his own people will turn on him. So in order to satisfy the maggots, you've got to allow what he's going to do because it's going to piss people off tremendously.
He didn't win that election free and clear. And I agree that I'm glad you said that, because I think that ultimately it exposes everything he's going to try to do. And at some point, we're going to be like, no, we're democracy. We're not going to let that happen.
And the Senate and the House, they're not dancing for joy about him either.
No.
There's some mega people in there that are like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but they're like, when that stock market starts falling and people are losing their jobs and their constituents start telling them, get rid of this guy or else, they'll listen.
And he tries to fire all those federal employees to privatize it or do whatever. That's not going to work because they're going to have it tied up in court for years.
For
Mass,
years. I saw that too.
mass deportations are going to get tied up in court for years.
Yes, the ACLU, I see all kinds of lawsuits. He's only going to be able to move at a snail's pace.
Exactly. And people are worried about him doing away with Social Security. That's not going to happen. Also, Medicare, that's not going to happen. He will try huge Medicaid cuts, but I see the states fighting back to that too.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be able to get by with what he thinks he's going to, even with a Republican House and Senate. A lot of Republicans are not MAGA, and they're going to stand firm against a lot of the crap that Trump's going to try to pull.
Well, even Grassley said, now he's a underhanded 110-year-old man. He said that he's willing to look at that guy with the eyes like that for the FBI. Sure, I'm willing to hear what he thinks he can do to improve the FBI, but I also want him to go through a thorough background check and to be cleared.
And that's exactly what Trump's going
to do. Elon Musk went nuts. Anybody that thinks they're going to try to give them background checks, I will work as hard as I can to get them kicked out of office.
You know what? He's not going to succeed in that because
he thinks he's all that.
Well, background checks are hugely important and they're not going to go away. Okay. Mark LaRoche says, has Kamala been working on a cabinet during this time, knowing she will need to act quickly? I think Kamala already had a cabinet in place before the election. So she already had her cabinet members lined up.
Yeah.
So that's the answer I got.
That sounds correct to me.
Okay. Lynn C says significant weather event details. When, where? Thanks.
Well, I'm going to be doing that on my 2025 look for the new year, but I see big, huge snowstorms, avalanches. I see, that's why Trump can't really get his feet wet, because there's going to be so many events that occur and they have no money because he's busy trying to pickpocket the pockets of the United States of America. It's like everybody's, where's our money? And then he's going to try to get rid of FEMA and everybody. And the Americans aren't going to put up with it.
I see a lot more violent hurricanes hitting up through the Gulf of Mexico, those southern states like Louisiana, Alabama, parts of Texas. Florida is going to get hit really bad. Record snows here in the Midwest, record warm temperatures. And you're right, he's going to try to weaken FEMA. But, just like what he said when those hurricanes hits, here's what I would do. He doesn't have a plan. And
he told our governor to sweep the floors, sweep the forest.
Right. And when all this destruction starts to happen due to climate change, you're right. People are going to be up in arms because where's FEMA? He's going to have to do more than go to Puerto Rico and throw paper towels at people. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not going to last long, you guys. I can't tell you how long. And I don't even see him getting put in office under oath, but maybe I just don't want to see it. But I have a hard time seeing him in office if he is in office very long. And I think Elon Musk is going to blow it for him big time.
I've never seen Trump fulfilling his full term in office. I've never seen that. And I don't know what happens. I'll work on that, but I'm telling you, he's not going to fulfill his full term in office.
And his health isn't very good. And I always get the death card with his administration. So something big is happening.
Right. Okay. Lovely Lizette says, where is Vance? Why haven't we heard from him? Because Trump told him to shut up and keep his mouth shut.
He's put him in the corner.
He has put him in the corner. I guess the flip side of that is Why are we hearing so much from Elon Musk? See, Trump is going to get jealous because Elon Musk is going to be more in the spotlight than Donald Trump. That's another thing.
That's what he did with Bannon.
Exactly.
Fired Bannon for being on the front of Newsweek.
Um, okay, Pink Lady says this, but Pink Lady, I disagree with you, but that's okay. We're entitled to our opinions. Hi, Mel and Linda. Don't stand a chance. Vice be the president if T-Rump doesn't make it. Hoping not, but thought I would ask. Here again, during the midterms, I see the Democrats taking back over the House and the Senate.
Oh, big time, big blue.
Huge. Okay, so let's say Trump doesn't fulfill his term in office and Vance becomes president. He's still going to be more like a lame duck. The House and the Senate will block him in everything he's going to try to do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not worried about that Project 2025, because there'll be so many lawsuits and all of that. By the time anything happens, the Dems will take over the House and the Senate.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Ooh, this is a good one. Kelly Shunara says, this is a really good one. What will happen to Elon Musk's Tesla company after the you know what hits the fan? Because he owns Tesla.
I know, but I don't know what exactly he's going to do, but I saw people lighting his cars on fire. People marching in the streets and everybody wanting Tesla to burn.
It's going to be just like what happened with Twitter when he called it X. People aren't going to buy Teslas, and it's amazing that he owns Tesla, which is electric cars, but yet Trump and his cronies are all for the Koch brothers, who are about oil and exploiting gas. And
Yeah, and they're going to stop those checks that you get for buying that electric car.
right. So therein is going to be a rub between Trump and Elon Musk.
Right.
I see a Tesla I want to throw up. I would never buy one.
We
And
had a Tesla truck looking thing. You know, it looks like it looks like some sort of can thing. And it hit a tree up in the Piedmont and it killed three young people who were in college home for the holidays. The driver is still alive, but they killed three of them.
I see a huge recall coming for Tesla products, a huge recall, and a lot of people filing lawsuit because of mechanical failures and people
Well,
getting.
that's what Elon is fighting for. He doesn't want other people to look at the cars or keep any information.
That's not going to happen. Consumer Reports will crucify him.
Okay, good.
This is a good one. Linda Colors says the BRIC, which is headed by Putin, Russia, China, India, and Brazil have come together to start a new currency, Bitcoin. Their aim is to dethrone the US currency as the world reference. Trump's choice of cabinet is aimed at destroying US economy and reduce the US dollar value. Will they succeed? Thank you.
No.
No.
I heard somebody say in my right ear, nice try.
Well, Elon Musk is behind that because
Doesn't matter.
well, it's Bitcoin is not regulated. So I think that what they did is like North Korea. North Korea bought all this Bitcoin. And then because it's supply and demand, there wasn't enough of it. It raised the price really high. When the price got up, North Korea dumped it all back in the market and caused it to crash. So Bitcoin is not regulated. There's nothing to stand behind it. And, you know, like El Salvador is using Bitcoin. The reason that Russia, China, India, and Brazil are going to go to Bitcoin is because, like I said, they can control the price on it. They can, you know, by buying a lot of it or dumping it back in the market, they can control what it's worth. And that's why Elon Musk wants to do it. It's not going to work.
No, he's got too many people. I don't know if Trump is still the president in 2 years, but I see so many blue people in the Congress that I see you know how they try to do I see them taking down a lot of people in office Not, kind of like what they did with Trump, but this time it flies through. What do they call that when they tell you? Well, they telling them they're traitors and they impeach all of them.
Right. Oh, can't think of the name, but
And don't forget Jack Smith's coming out with the paperwork that's going to give some names of the people who were in on that sedition.
there's a lot that's going to hit the fan. A lot. But as far, I mean, Litecoin's going up, Bitcoin's going up, but Donald Trump keeps saying that, he's going to be all for Bitcoin and all of this. But in order to change the currency, right now the dollar is strong. It was like $1.08 American for €1. When we first started going to Europe, it was $1.50 American for €1. The dollar is going to lose value, and Bitcoin will. But when the dollar starts to lose value, people are that's going to cause inflation. And I'm telling you, people are going to start protesting in mass. I see massive protests in
I
this.
saw that too. Rioting in the streets even.
Absolutely. So, he'll blame other people, of course, like
He'll blame Elon Musk.
well, but Trump is also going to blame you know, organizations like Black Lives Matter, like he's going to try to blame like Antifa, all of that stuff. But people are going to wisen up. So
Yeah.
when their dollar loses value, and it's going to affect everything, people are going to be like, wait a minute.
And you guys get your substance, get your canned foods. Don't be left out without things because there's going to be a lot of things that won't be available for a little while, not a long time.
So, they might try to dethrone the dollar, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Trump can very well easily in a couple of years almost bankrupt this country. And he's going to take us very near depression, but we will pull out of it.
We will pull out of it.
Okay, Sobel Promotions says.
But may I say this real quick? Because of what he does is why his own people turn against him.
Right.
We had to have this happen. So people are suffering in their own homes saying, wait a second, you said we were going to live better and we're not.
And at least half of us can say to the other half, you all drank the Kool-Aid, we didn't. Anyway, okay, Sobel Productions or Promotions, I'm sorry, says Justin Trudeau, he's the Prime Minister of Canada, went to see Donald Trump. How did the meeting go, especially since Trudeau knows Donald lost? And how did President Biden feel about it? Biden is still president. Donald won't sign the necessary paperwork to be president, and Joe knows he lost the election.
Well, he signed some of it. He
Right.
didn't sign the part where he has to reveal what foreigners gave him money.
Well, he's going to be forced to sign that.
Something's going to happen with that. But Trudeau, when he went to him to plead on this thing he's planning on doing, Canada, what do you say, a 50%? What is the name? What does he say? He's so stupid. He thinks that's going to help us. We're going to go against China,
tariffs.
Mexico, tariffs. Yeah.
That's not going to
Oh,
work.
he went to talk sense to them, but let me tell you, Trudeau left there knowing you can't trust a word he says.
Right. Right. What I kept seeing coming was in El Salvador, they use Bitcoin, but I keep seeing a bunch of Latin American countries and Central American countries banding together to start like their version, like a Central South American Union, much like countries did in Europe to start the European Union with their own currency. And that's going to be a currency that's really going to impact the dollar as well. So the thing to look at futuristically with what they're trying to do with Bitcoin, I wouldn't invest in Bitcoin right now because it's going to be a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money overnight by over investing in Bitcoin. You're going to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope pensions aren't doing that.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good.
They're going to have too much of a fight. What I think is going to happen, they'll try it with Social Security, but it won't work.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people starting to invest in foreign currencies that are more stable. like the euro or things like that. So
Boy, that euro's almost a dollar for a dollar.
I
It
know
just keeps dropping.
it's dropping. Well,
I think the pound is down to $1.20 or something.
Canada's $1.25 Canadian for $1 American, but I can see that reversing with Trump trying to do what he's going to try to do, and people are going to be like, "What?" It's Elon Musk behind it to try to force people to buy Bitcoin, and people are going to be like, "No, we're not doing that."
Now, Canada is what again?
I think it's $1.25 or $1.35 Canadian to $1 American.
Yeah, because when I pay somebody in Canadian dollars, I pay less than American dollars for the same amount for, yeah.
Right. So I think that's going to flip at some point because Canada is not going to go with Bitcoin. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel Martin says, this is a very good question. Do you see a mass firing of career federal employees? He'll try.
He'll try. I see people standing in having hearings. He'll try, but he's not going to be able to go like this across the table. He's not going to be able to wipe them out. You know, I see a lot of unrest in the streets, by the way.
Me too.
I see a lot of rioting and people just, even his own people, upset.
Okay. PM Rovita says 3 drones were sighted over 3 British Royal Air Force bases. What were they up to? Spying. That's what they were up to.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, the ETs are out there big time. They're being seen everywhere.
There you go.
That must make Putin feel uncomfortable because they're watching him like a hawk.
Like crazy. Nellie Segarra says, how will the Federalist Society be involved once Trump takes over? I've got a funny feeling the Federalist Society at some point is even going to go against Trump.
Yeah, because he's not working with them either.
Just like the Lincoln Project did, just like conservatives against Trump. That's what's
Yeah.
going to happen with a lot of the Federalist Society as well. The Lincoln Project is going to grow huge, by the way.
Okay, good.
Okay. Brenda C says, it's been reported that Elon wants to donate £100 million to the Reform Party in the UK. He has also said that Nigel Farage, who is responsible for Brexit and a big Putin fan, will become the next prime minister of the UK. God help us all, has also said that the House of Commons should debate abortion deadline, which is currently 24 weeks, and he thinks it'd be 22 weeks. Can you read on this? Many thanks.
Well, I see them talking about this man has no right to put his nose in our business. God, who does he think he is?
Because he wants to control world economy. He wants to control.
But he's being obvious. I see the British are very,
He wants.
they don't like people blatantly being over, like they don't care about your money. You're not investing, Nigel. He's not going to win.
I see a time coming in a lot of countries, this one included, when they're going to keep people like Elon Musk from donating that kind of money to buy an
That's going to happen.
Or to buy a party. What Musk is trying to do is also get his fingers in the UK so he can control that with his Bitcoin thing. And he's also trying to get, he's trying to make the Reform Party in the UK like the MAGA party here. So they're already chipping away at abortion there and human rights. And my guides had warned that the same thing can happen in the UK. The same thing can happen in Australia. The same thing can happen in Canada if we're not careful. So I see legislation.
Musk is going, he's going to go like a little, puppy.
Right.
He's going to end up in South Africa. I'm telling you right now.
Well, people are going to start speaking up in the UK as well. And I'm thinking to myself that that I see legislation, some kind of emergency legislation that he can't buy elections like that. And the Russians will also try to interfere in the elections in the UK, but that'll be thwarted. So
the UK people won't hear of it. They're not going to stand it.
Well, the reason for Brexit,
they don't like him. I don't know what that's about, but they don't like his personality. They think he's, he's pompous and he's gross.
Well, they played on, Brexit played on the xenophobia of the British people. Like, they're exploiting us, they're doing this, they're doing that. But now a lot of people in Britain, I think, are not happy that Brexit happened. Um,
Oh, they're not.
uh, yeah. Um, so anyway, the European Union is not going to go away. I can tell you that right now. Normal name. Now, Elon Musk would like to weaken the European Union because
Yeah.
he's going to go into some of those countries and start trying to buy elections, the domino effect. He might look like he'll win a few battles, but he won't win the war, nor will Trump.
You know what I got? I just got a hit, and I'll just say it. We don't wish it on anyone, but I see there's some people higher ups, and I don't know where from, that want to take him out.
Yep. I don't wish harm, but I absolutely.
No, but I feel like he needs to be very careful because there's some people that want to take him out. He's overdoing it. He's overzealous. Somebody was talking about Scorpio and something in one of his signs, which means his head is real big and he thinks he can just call whatever he wants. He's elated Trump won, but he takes credit for it, which is a big turnoff for Trump and his people, his cohorts.
You know,
Apparently, him and that guy, that attorney, by the way, who's selling, saying, "Give me money and I'll give consideration if you should get a seat next to Trump." Did you hear about that? He's selling. Him and Elon had a big, almost fisticuffs.
well, there's going to be a big one between Trump and Elon. I think when Elon bought Twitter, he thought to himself, he bought that to spew his propaganda. I think his idea is to buy countries. In other words, invest money in these political parties. So they'll pretty much do his bidding.
Right.
And I think the whole thing with Twitter was a litmus test. But a lot of these countries and a lot of these companies are going to be smart and say, we're not going to sell to Elon Musk because we know what he's up to.
Right.
And
And the Mexican president told Trump, "We open our borders for the ones you're getting rid of. We're not like that. I thought she also said, and we're going to get rid of the 2 million Americans. Apparently, she never said that.
say that.
Elon Musk put that in his stuff.
Right, right.
So I had repeated it and it was incorrect. Somebody let me know, and I let everybody know on my channel it was incorrect.
I just repeated what I had heard.
Yeah.
But, but I didn't see it happening. And so, yeah. And another thing that he's going to be called to task on is the misinformation.
Yes.
So, the lies, and he's going to have lots of lawsuits against him for the slander and all of, he'll blame somebody else. But I'm telling you that he's buying these political parties in other countries because then he feels like he will be the king and can tell them what to do. Elon Musk wants to control the world. That's what he's up to.
Yeah, but he can't control the United States because he's not a United States true citizen.
He wants to control the world, though, by donating gobs and gobs of money to the political parties. He wants some power, and he thinks that'll give him control. But that's going to blow up in his face. And I see him losing a big part of his fortune. I really do.
I do too.
Okay.
Well, the United States eventually is going to take any kind of contract they had with them away.
That's right. That's right. We got time for one more, I think. Is that okay?
Okay.
Andrew Geyer says, since the oath of office for the presidency requires upholding and protecting the Constitution, how is it valid when he is determined in dismantling it and other laws? Is there any safeguard for this situation? Not many, but I do see legislation coming futuristically that will safeguard the Constitution from rogue presidents and rogue people like Donald Trump and like Elon Musk.
I even see the Supreme Court voting on something that's going to make Trump furious.
They're not his buddies like he thinks.
No, but he's trying to do something against the Constitution, and I feel that they can't even play with it. They say no.
Right. Everybody just keep the faith, keep your voices strong. Like I learned when I had cancer, don't let the fear stand in front of us and hold us back. Let it get behind us and push us forward. We will win, we will weather this storm, I
And
promise.
let me tell you something else. Like my guide said to me very quietly. It's like, wait, Kamala did win, by the way. But in order that people would have thrown fits in the streets. But in order to get rid of Trump, you have to see what he does to his own people. And that's when his own people turn against him, is when he's no longer, he might not be around physically, but he's definitely going to be kicked out.
You know, my light bulb just went on with a lot of the protest I see coming. Trump is once again going to try to call in the military to stop those protests. And that's unconstitutional. He can't do that.
Right, right.
Going to bite him big time. So,
Yeah. And he's not going to be able to touch the military generals and stuff like he thought he could.
right. No, exactly. In fact, behind the scenes, a couple of them would be totally against Trump.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my dear. Next week, your show, right?
All right, sweetie. Well, and I'm on my last month of readings because usually I have to do 2 readings and then I'm on with you. After, okay, this is one, so I got 3 more Mondays and then I'm done with that.
All right, sweetie. You stay
Thank you,
well.
honey.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Um, give me 1 second. Oh.